So Sharon, we were just talking about this movie, My Octopus Teacher, and I actually just watched it with my son again over the holidays, and it's just a brilliant documentary, and just there's a couple of things that we were thinking. I mean, of course, it's brilliant in terms of its detail and discovery of these amazing animals, but then about how connected this filmmaker was to this octopus and how dedicated he was in documenting the life of this octopus over, it was up to a year. He spent about a year just getting used to being in the ocean, and then another year studying this octopus, and it was an incredible experience, just to watch it, let alone, I'm sure, how he experienced it on his own. And he went into a lot of explanation about how it changed his life. That this understanding what this little creature was doing and the connection that he had with it changed the way he saw the world, but also the way he treated and experienced other people. So to me, there was so much in this little documentary that was valuable and really should be something that everyone watches. You said you saw it as well.
Me and my nephew have watched it multiple times. Years ago, like about 4 years ago, we used to watch it all the time. We'd mostly watch animal documentaries, but this one we'd jump on the couch and yell when the octopus was being chased by the sharks, and we'd kind of get really excited and go, oh, and get really sad at some points. I don't want to give away spoilers. But to me personally, I had already researched a lot about octopus because I don't have any allergies, but I've tried, and I barely eat meat. But 2 times I've tried to eat octopus and went into convulsive vomiting and was very curious, like, why is this one random food making me like, and I'm talking like we were gonna go to the ER. My friends were very worried about me. I was really sick, so I started researching and just asking people that seem to know a lot, and they are brilliant. They're incredibly intuitive. They're incredibly sentient. They had one that famously escaped from the Monterey Bay Aquarium and like ran across the street and got back into the ocean and they can get out of their enclosures. And they're incredibly evolved. So I started asking people I know and then reading into it and seeing that they were laying their eggs onto high temperature methane grids in some areas, which should be, that hardly any of the eggs were surviving, but the ones who would were extremely evolved to deal with higher temperatures and with more methane in the environment, which is what a lot of scientists agree is happening in the long term in our environments. So, I mean, it really makes you think because they do look very prehistoric, like they've lived, you know, from the time of the dinosaurs, and they're evolving. Um, and I don't know, I haven't read that much into it because this is a spur of the moment discussion, but I remember thinking that's pretty remarkable that they're self-evolving without reading any white papers or scientific studies that I'm aware of, but they're so smart that maybe they realize what is supposedly, I don't, not to make any sort of political thing, but that the environment is becoming warmer and also having more methane in it. So I'm very impressed with them. And I thought of that, like maybe I have like a methane intolerance or who knows? I've talked to multiple doctors and nobody's really figured out what it is. I just don't eat octopus. But also I think that after knowing so much about them, I really don't want to.
But that was sort of the message that I wanted, my son to hear as well. The reason why we watched this documentary, the My Octopus Teacher, is because my son was asking me why I stopped eating meat. And I said, well, it's not due to any one particular influence or experience. It was really a culmination of things. I mean, back when I was younger, that's almost all I ate was meat. And so it was just a result of a number of different influences and information that I gathered. And this was one of them, this movie, My Octopus Teacher. And it was one of the things that had an influence on me and the choices that I was making over foods that I was going to eat. And, this has had a lasting impact on me. And it's far more than just not eating meat. It's what it is that we are here to see and understand from these animals and ways that we can connect with them. And, even more broadly, a plant-based diet is one of the best choices that we can make in terms of addressing climate change. So it's really, much more than just about an octopus. It's really about how it is that we choose to live here and why, and what is our association and relationship with the natural worlds.